Hero and Leander is the Greek myth relating the story of Hero, a priestess of Aphrodite who dwelt in a tower in Sestos on the European side of the Hellespont, and Leander, a young man from Abydos on the opposite side of the strait. Leander fell in love with Hero and would swim every night across the Hellespont to be with her. Hero would light a lamp at the top of her tower to guide his way. Succumbing to Leander's soft words and to his argument that Venus, as the goddess of love, would scorn the worship of a virgin, Hero allowed him to make love to her. These trysts lasted through the warm summer. But one stormy winter night, the waves tossed Leander in the sea and the breezes blew out Hero's light. Leander lost his way and was drowned. When Hero saw his dead body, she threw herself over the edge of the tower to her death to be with him. Cultural references. The myth of Hero and Leander has been used extensively in literature and the arts. Ancient Roman coins of Abydos, Septimus Severus Caracalla. The narrative is treated in the double Heroids, 18 and 19, an exchange of letters between the lovers. Leander has been unable to swim across to Hero in her tower because of bad weather. Her summons to him to make the effort will prove fatal to her lover. Francisco Quevedo mentions Leander in En Crespa Tempstot del Oro and Osso. Byzantine poet Magius also wrote a poem. Aldus Manutius made it one of his first publications after he set up his famous printing press in Venice. Magius's poem had early translations into European languages by Bernardo Tasso, Boscawen and Clare. Copyright meant Marot. This poem was widely believed in the Renaissance to have been pre-Homeric. George Chapman reflects at the end of his completion of Marlowe's version that the dead lovers had the honor of being the first that ever poet sung a Euro unregistered trademark. Chapman's 1616 translation has the title The Divine Poem of Magius. First of all books. Translated according to the original, by Geo. Chapman. Stapleton, the mid-17th century translator, had read Scaliger's repudiation of this mistaken belief, but still could not resist citing Virgil's Musarium Antioms on the title page of his translation. Renaissance poet Christopher Marlowe began an expansive version of the narrative. His story does not get as far as Leander's nocturnal swim, and the guiding lamp that gets extinguished, but ends after the two have become lovers. George Chapman completed Marlowe's poem after Marlowe's death. This version was often reprinted in the first half of the 17th century, with editions in 1598, 1600 and 1606, 1609, 1613, 1617, 1622, 1629, and 1637. Sir Walter Raleigh alludes to the story, in his The Ocean's Love to Cynthia, in which Hero has fallen asleep, and fails to keep alight the lamp that guides Leander on his swim. Shakespeare also mentions this story in the opening scene of Two Gentlemen of Verona, in a dialogue between Valentine and Proteus. Valentine, and on a love book pray for my success? Proteus, upon some book I love I'll pray for thee. Valentine, that's on some shallow story of deep love, how young Leander cross up the Hellespont. Proteus, that's a deep story of a deeper love, for he was more than overshoes in love. Valentine, 'tis true. For you were over boots in love, and yet you never swum the Hellespont. Hero and Leander are again mentioned in Two Gentlemen of Verona in Act 3 Scene I when Valentine is tutoring the Duke of Milan on how to woo the lady from Milan. The story has also been alluded to in Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, both when Benedick states that Leander was never so truly turned over and over as my poor self in love, and in the name of the character Hero, who, despite accusations to the contrary, remains chaste before her marriage. It was also briefly alluded to in Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream in the form of a malapropism accidentally using the names Helen and Lysander in the place of Hero and Leander, as well as in Edward III, Othello, and Romeo and Juliet. The most famous Shakespearean allusion is the debunking one by Rosalind, in Act 4 Scene I of As You Like It, Leander, he would have lived many a fair year, though Hero had turned nun, if it had not been for a hot midsummer night. 4. Good youth, he went but forth to wash him in the Hellespont and being taken with the cramp was drowned and the foolish coroners of that age found it was Hero of Sestos. But these are all lies, men have died from time to time and worms have eaten them, but not for love. Ben Jonson's play Bartholomew Fair features a puppet show of Hero and Leander in Act V, translated to London, with the Thames serving as the Hellespont between the lovers. It is also the subject of a novel by Milorad Pavia, Inner Side of the Wind. Leander is also the subject of sonnet XXIX by Spanish poet Garcilaso de la Vega of the 16th century. In the collection of short stories and essays by Lafcadio Hearn, in Ghostly Japan, the author is told the popular story of a girl that swims to her lover guided by a lantern, and he comments on the similarities with the Western story. A year or so, I said to myself, in the Far East, it is poor Hero that does the swimming. And what, under such circumstances, would have been the Western estimate of Leander? John Donne has an elegant epigram summing up the story in 2 lines. Leander is mentioned in Dion Boucicault's play The Colleen Bawn. Corrigan refers to Hardress Cregan and his nocturnal boat rides to his secret wife as being, like Leander, barring the wetting. The myth is central to John Keats' 1817 sonnet, On an Engraved Gem of Leander. Myths and Hymns, by Adam Gretel, contains a song titled after the pair. Robert Schumann is said to have perceived his Inden act from Fantasista 1/4 CKE as depicting the story of Hero and Lendros. Lord Byron references Leander in Written After Swimming from Sestos to Abydos. The myth of Hero and Leander inspired his own swim across the Hellespont in May, 1810. Byron also alludes to his feat, with further reference to Leander, in Don Juan, Canto 2, stanza 105. Franz Grillparz's 1831 tragedy Des Mires und der Liebwellen is based on the tale. Friedrich Schiller wrote the ballad Hero und Leander based on the tale. Georg Friedrich Handel's 1707 solo cantata in Italian, Hero e Lendro, is based on the tale. Alfredo Catalani composed a tone poem, Hero e Lendro, based on the tale. Arrigo Boito composed an opera, Hero e Lendro, but destroyed it. Diana Wynne-Jones's meter fantasy novel Fire and Hemlock makes an early reference to Hero and Leander, both to foreshadow the plot and as a namesake for the heroine's alter ego. Rudyard Kipling started his poem A Song of Travel with words, Where's the lamp that Hero wants to call Leander home? Alfred Tennyson's poem Hero to Leander has Hero begging her lover not to leave until the morning when the sea has calmed. Thou shalt not wander hence tonight, I'll stay thee with my kisses. Poem 15 of A. Hersman's More Poems is devoted to the myth. It describes how, why Sestos town, in Hero's tower on Hero's heart Leander lies. References. External links, Hero and Leander, full text, annotated text of Marlowe's poem with illustrations, Hero. A priestess of Aphrodite at Sestos. New International Encyclopedia 1905.